You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. Thieving from veterans. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. All narcissists steal. This is because narcissists take, acquire, purloin the character traits of other people and bolt them onto their construct. This means that other people's experience, memories, anecdotes, achievements become commandeered by the narcissist for the purpose of adding them to the construct, and that construct is then used to show the outside world that the narcissist is successful, is brilliant, thus enabling people to be controlled and to draw fuel from them by way of their responses to being told how magnificent the narcissist is and what they've done and what they've achieved. So, for example, the narcissist parent will acquire the success of their child at being the top goal scorer at football, stating, oh yes, he gets his footballing ability from me, or it's because I've coached him so well. The child's achievement becomes that of the narcissist parent. It goes beyond the ordinary pride that a non-narcissist parent would experience. The narcissist steals the child's achievement and essentially passes it off as their own. The narcissist will use the experiences of other people, places that they've been, things that they've done, and make it out like they are the ones who've done that. And thus, every single narcissist will steal in that fashion. But it also goes beyond the acquisition of character traits. The narcissist will steal credit, for example. The underling that has toiled all weekend to compile a report suddenly finds that his manager, when presenting it to the board, claims that he's the one that's done the work, and thus revels in the praise that the board lavishes upon him for such an excellent production in the report. The actual person who's done the work isn't even given a mention, as the narcissist steals that credit. Narcissists, of course, also steal actual items, whether it's your food in the fridge, borrowing, in inverted commas, an outfit and never returning it to you, borrowing garden equipment which never gets returned, or simply helping themselves to items that belong to you and waltzing off with them. Certain narcissists regularly engage in such behaviour. This, of course, is done through a sense of entitlement, an absence of emotional empathy for how the person has been affected by this behaviour, a lack of boundary recognition, and a lack of accountabilities for the way that they have behaved. Money is stolen by narcissists. Some will do so on the basis of asking to borrow money which is then never repaid. In other instances, they incur expenditure using somebody else's credit card or take out loans in their name, or simply take money from an account without the permission of the account holder. Again, they do so because they view it as their possession. What is yours is theirs. You, being an extension of the narcissist, also means that everything associated with you is up for grabs. Lesser narcissists do it without considering any form of justification. Mid-range narcissists provide a justification for their behaviour. They deserve it. They're the one that's worked the longest, therefore they've taken this money from the company because they ought to have received a bonus, but they did not do so. And therefore it's only right that they, in effect, recompense themselves. Accordingly, the concept of theft in its many different forms will be found repeatedly in the behaviour of narcissists. It's now been suggested that Harry's wife, she of the theft of the shoes that she took from the shoot that she did for Reitman's, if you recall that, well, it's now been suggested that she's been up to yet more skullduggery. A short video has appeared on YouTube, which has then gained traction through Twitter and various comments, alleges that Harry's wife has engaged in some rather shady behaviour in relation to the Invictus Games. Now, I'll leave it for you to make a determination as to the veracity of this source material. You may think that it's not been presented in an appropriate fashion. You may think that it's just based upon rumour. However, as always, the purpose is of taking this material and helping you understand it on the basis if it is correct and true. As ever, you can make your own mind up about the veracity of the material. I'm going to provide you with the analysis. The suggestion is that the Invictus Foundation has cut ties with the Sussexes, and this is as a consequence of Harry's wife's behaviour, whereby she turned it into, essentially, a fashion show for her. You'll recall last year that the Invictus Games in The Hague became the Harry's Wife Games, as she ensured that it was all about her as she swanned around in expensive outfits. The video concerned suggests that people on the board of the foundation started to question the expenses of the Sussexes, and veterans thus then filed complaints about the use of funds, which purportedly led Greg Peters, the CEO of Netflix, to demand that Harry's wife repay a sum of money that she had expensed from the foundation for her fashion. Queries had been apparently raised about why such an amount had been spent by Harry's wife on clothing for her. Apparently, the sum involved, as per the allegations, is $540,000, and that she had seen fit, apparently, to expense that sum from the Invictus Foundation. Thereafter, people were apparently up in arms about it. Now, if this is true, why might Harry's wife behave that way? Well, first of all, she has now got expensive tastes as a consequence of the heady heights that her narcissism has enabled her to clamber up to. She believes that she belongs within the rarefied atmosphere of being a fashionista, even though, of course, much of what she wears makes her look like a dog's dinner. But as I've explained in parts passim, her narcissism deludes her so that she's unable to see that she looks a mess. She believes that she has to have expensive clothing. Unlike the Princess of Wales, who wears less expensive clothing and recycles it, Harry's wife, with her grandiosity and sense of entitlement, swans around in expensive items with $35,000 necklaces, $10,000 outfits, and so forth. She does so because she sees it as only right and proper that if she is giving her time to the Invictus Foundation, she ought to be reimbursed for it. Remember what she said when she was in Australia, when she commented that she couldn't believe she wasn't being paid for a walkabout. Harry's wife's sense of entitlement, and driven by her narcissism, means she doesn't understand the concept of doing something for the sake of doing it, like an empathic person would. If she does it, everybody should be grateful that she's doing it because she is the supreme empress of woke, the most magnificent Harry's wife. And in the circumstances, her narcissism justifies putting in such an expense claim, if it is true, on the basis that because she's so important and she's giving her time, it's only right that she looks tremendous, and it's only right that she puts in a larger expense claim to ensure that she is reimbursed for what she has spent upon clothing. A narcissist such as Harry's wife regards the property of other people as hers. Her narcissism causes her to see herself as the centre of the universe. And therefore, everybody should know the way that she's thinking, everybody should be anticipating her needs, and that they should understand that she is entitled to be dressed in expensive clothing, and that they, because they are in effect having her attend their organisation, that they should clothe her. It's a little bit like the expectancy that attending somebody's house, that you should be fed and watered and made comfortable and be clothed and perhaps given some money, and that your taxi fare is paid on the way there and your taxi fare is paid on the way back. Harry's wife regards her giving her presence to such an event is one for which all of those people associated with the organisation should be totally grateful for. She sees nothing wrong, if it's true, with submitting an expenses claim for the money involved. Interestingly, if this is accurate, the sum of money that was taken by way of expenses for her for Sean, and that has been repaid as a consequence of the pressure that has been placed upon them, is roughly just over half that which has been donated by Prince William to Invictus, which provides you with a contrast of behaviours. Prince William donates, she takes. You might wonder, why would she then repay the money if she has such a sense of entitlement? Well, ultimately, if it is correct that she had taken these expenses and now has been forced to repay them, narcissism deems it as appropriate for the purposes of facade management, but also because it would recognise that there's a greater gain to be obtained by remaining on good terms with Netflix, and basically sees it as a small sacrifice for the greater gain. In that moment, that is the way that the narcissism functions. If this report is accurate, and as I say, you can make your own mind up about that, then it is demonstrative of the sense of entitlement through which she operates, the way that she sees that her presence is one that ought to be rewarded, the way that she believes that she is not accountable for her behaviours, that she is allowed to swan in, spend this amount of money without any due regard for how it makes other people feel, that where she's spending huge amounts of money on dresses and necklaces and so forth, and other people are struggling to get by, it simply doesn't register with her because, contrary to what she says, she actually does not care. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.